Oh, my word. Oh. Fine specimen, fine. Here, my dear, is little something for you, my dear. Open wide. Good catch, my dear, good catch. Good evening, good evening. It's Zacherley here. Do you want to give a little lecture here before the evening's film? And Joe Bob is around somewhere around this dreadful place, and we'll get together. But I want to first describe to you one of the great experiments that I've done in the past for the young kids years ago, and I still do these things. You know, there are people who believe that there's a great spirit up there that created the world and all that's in there, you know. And then, of course, there are others who, like myself, lean toward the basic big amoeba. I've found these great giant amoeba in the area in New Jersey where the football giants play football nowadays, and it's a great source of inspiration to me to find these great amoeba. What's going on down here, my dear? What? Hey, here. What have you got there, my dear? Have you been... Just a moment here. Why, it's grand old Joe Bob. I want to know if you've been messing around with the wife under there, my dear. Have you been behaving?
Wife?
Indeed, it is, my boy.
It's fungus growing on the pipes.
No, that's just the hair that covers her from tip to toe.
You can have this back. It was.
Well, I'll put it here with the brain, my boy. Here's a grand specimen of the brain. You wouldn't really believe this, but this is one of the things that I'm going to inject into the great amoeba, and maybe we'll create a monster right here this evening. Hey, would you like that?
That's an amoeba.
Here, let's get down here, my boy, and have a look here. See what we've got.
I killed a squirrel like that with my truck one time. I mean, that's what it looked like after.
Probably looked a little bit like this, didn't it? Hey, these are leftover nerves that I don't really think I'll need. Now, I've come to the conclusion, of course, that we all came from, we all degenerated, rather, or however you want to look at it. A lot of us have evolved into, couch potatoes or whatever. But in this case, I've got this little culture going here, and this amoeba, which you see is the epidermis here, you can see, and the inside is very wiggly, and I will proceed to open it up here and see how it's come along, because the process of evolution is not easy to pull off, you know. Not easy at all.
And this is going to explain the process.
Yes, looking at you, you're such a handsome fellow, rather. Excuse me, my wife's a chick. You're not a chick. I beg your pardon. But the point is that when you arrive in this world as a little tiny amoeba and you go into a bigger amoeba, then you're lucky if you come out as handsome as you are. Let me get out of that, I think. Well, I'll slice this thing open here, and we'll see just what we've got here. Here, just take. If you're going to be a freelance surgeon in this world, you just have to go ahead and do it. You know, you just can't mess around and use little tools that don't do the confound it. This is supposed to be. Well, now don't get nervous. This is the way life is, you know, my boy. Now, if you just notice here, all this stuff oh dear, it's not really. It's hard to tell what we've got here, really. Look at that. What is that?
I don't know.
This could have been, it could possibly have been a heart or something. Would you hold on to me? So just hold on to that. Yeah, thank you, my boy. Aha, this is a surefire giveaway here. This is a female. It's turned into a female. There, the eggs.
How do you know it's a female?
Well, it's the eggs, my boy, the eggs.
Okay.
Roosters don't lay eggs, you know that. Down in here, here's some more of the heart. Look at that. It's not the shape that you're used to seeing, you know, on Valentine's, not at all. Now wait. Here's something here. Where's my little forceps here? We should do this with a great deal here. This is very exciting. Look at that.
Yeah. What?
Isn't that awful?
What part of the amoeba is that?
Well, I don't know what that was intended to be. Perhaps the stomach. You never can tell. It could have been the stomach, but something's gone wrong here, obviously. I think what we're going to have to end up here is here. Look here. Here's some nerves. Now, these nerves are not where they, eventually the nerves are up and down your arms and so on. And if you didn't have your nerves in the proper place, you'd end up on a psycho ward, you know. That's where a lot of these people end up who make the movies you show on this strange and weird drive-in thing. We had a last of the drive-in theaters was closed in New Jersey. Did you read about that?
Yeah, it was sad.
Yeah, I read in your little newsletter a lot of things like what to do if you're a beer drinker and all that, but I think you should make notice of the fact that the last of the drive-ins in New Jersey is closed. Too bad, too bad. We had lots of fun. Would you care for some?
What do you mean, would I care for something?
Well, I think when a disaster like this happens, you see, I would normally have got the brain in the middle here, wrapped it up and sutured the whole thing and put it away for a while. And then perhaps legs.
While the movie's playing. Okay.
Yes. Perhaps legs and things would have developed, and then we'd have a surefire monster right here on live television. Unfortunately, something has gone wrong. And it hasn't happened the way I expected. Now, normally, you see, if I pick this up, look at that. There's some black stuff here. Look at that.
Yeah, you could just do variations of that forever.
Well, perhaps I can recycle it somehow. You know, you never know. The brain, I think I'll. Well,
I think
it's a bit of a disaster here, my boy.
You're
not working
now,
out. Yes, the tongue, though, if the tongue were in there, we'll put it all together here, cover it over, and perhaps when we come back, we'll have
put it all back together.
A very pretty mess for all of you.
All right.
I hope you've learned a thing or two.
All right, well.
And taken notes. Just wait a minute here now. And this is to remind you that the name of the movie is The Killer, right?
That's right. Our movie tonight is Killer, which in your honor, Zacherley, is the cheapest movie we have ever shown on drive-in theater. This movie was made by my buddy Tony Elwood of Charlotte, North Carolina. I don't know if you've met him. Made this movie for $9,500. Have you seen it?
No. Well, as a matter of fact, I have, but I didn't want to admit it.
It's about cannibals.
It's about cannibals, and he
in
made it in his backyard, right? And up and down the highway. I loved it. It was a grand movie, and this features very prominently in the movie. This is actually the one they used.
Okay, well, we'll get cleaned up here, and after the movie, we'll have an interview with Zacherley about what it was like to be the first nightly horror host in history.
Yes.
Killer. All right, you've just seen Killer, made by Tony Elwood in Gastonia, North Carolina, with a Super 8 camera for $9,500. And I wanted to show that movie as a tribute to the young filmmakers out there who are slaving away. The last half hour of the cannibal chase sequence in that movie, where the killer talks about all the holes in his head that the doctors drilled, that was great. That actor was Duke Ernsberger, one of the handsomest serial killer maniacs to be seen in a long time. And we're here with the legendary horror host, John Zacherley. John,
yes.
Would you agree with me when I say that was the greatest movie ever made in Gastonia, North Carolina?
I bet you it was. They probably give an award to that kid, or run him out of town too, maybe. Who knows?
Okay, well.
Is he still in the business?
Yeah, he's in the business. He's making another movie.
I love it. I love it. Well,
you know, this kind of grows on you, this amoeba
It does.
thing.
It does.
To where I kind of like it.
Yeah.
And
there's an admirer out there in the audience who I think I'll just toss this to. There you go. Good catch, my boy. Oh, it's a little lady.
Yeah, she didn't
I can't
like
tell
it
the
either.
difference. Well, I can't tell the difference.
Okay, listen, I wanted to ask you a few questions.
Yes, my wife.
If you can control yourself, about how the Zacherley show got started back in the 1950s.
Well,
it was in Philadelphia, right?
Yeah, it's true, it's true, true. And horror movies were not shown on television those days, black and white, you know, and the parents were upset and nervous when they heard that they were going to come on TV. So sure enough, out here in Hollywood, they made this package of films they called the Shock Theater. Some of you remember that, right? And a lot of hosts, as myself, sprouted up all around the country because some of the films were, you know, not too exciting. And so we had a little excitement there, you know.
And did you have the...
Oh, my dear.
Did you have the vampire costume and the man
Yes, I did.
laboratory
Yes,
and the whole thing
all
from
that.
the very beginning?
And my wife lived in the box, you know, underneath all this, and I would do things to her.
Did you write the show, or did you just get up and do it?
We used to study the films, and we'd have little cues for the director, you know, when Boris Karloff opens the door, and he says to Bela Lugosi, "What's going on here?" They would cut to me, and I'd be sitting in the chair, and I'd see him throw him a line that had nothing to do with the movie, and he'd close the door and back away and walk away. And if you study movies like we did, you could find lots of places there to kid around. The film was always rolling, so it was pretty exciting. We didn't have tape in those days. And so the obvious mistakes were part of the whole thing, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Film, and we'd spill over on the film and so on. But it was great fun and caught a big attention. And I had made a record called Dinner with Drac. Do you remember Dinner with Drac?
No, I'm sorry,
Big
I
hit,
missed it.
big hit on Dick Clark show. Whoa! He called me the cool ghoul. And the reason, by the way, that he looks so young is he uses this stuff on his face every night.
Well, I can
And he confessed he gets a lot of sex. That's what he told the whole world that. At any rate, that brought me to New York, and then I've been doing New York. See, that's the answer to your question.
Yeah, okay.
If that was a question you asked.
All right. Yeah, well, it was sort of a question. Now, one of the things people in the Northeast all remember your show, and they remember that you mentioned your wife that was kept under the counter.
Yep.
And we get the impression that she's some kind of a horrible mutant.
No.
But you never actually showed her on screen.
No, we didn't. I was always, chasing her around with a stick and hitting it, knocking it in, and people accepted that as a kind of a sex thing, and it was. And I had Gaspard who hung in the bag,
Gaspard was hanging in a burlap bag on the wall, and you would beat him with a baseball bat, right?
Well, if he got out of line, yes.
Okay. Now, when did you know that you were onto something with this show? When did the show become popular?
In Philadelphia, when, of course, when that record became a big hit, and we had an open house. The head man at the station, can't remember the idiot's name, but he decided to have an open house, and something like 12,000 people showed up.
Well, how long did the show run?
Oh, my Lord. Well, in Philadelphia, it ran for a year, and up here about 3.5 years, out there in New York, And since then, I still, get dressed up like this when the occasion arises. Or the wife wants to go out on the town.
Yeah. Well,
we live in the subway, actually. There's the station on the IRT subway, long since abandoned between 86 and 96. And if you're taking the local, you could whiz by there, you'll see me there. I'm in a rocking chair with the old girl. Right on the little light, little work light there. Still lit.
All right, well, it's very trendy.
Very charming. We had some graffiti people come in and do the whole wall.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
well, you were kind of the first guy to realize that if the stuff before and after the movie was entertaining, then the movie didn't have to be that good, right?
That's right, and the commercials, too. We used to kid the daylights out of the commercials.
Yeah. Do you still get a lot of letters from horror fans?
Yeah, oh sure. Yes. Didn't bring any with me,
And you know all the big horror stars and directors? You must have met most of them.
No, never did. I met the only big stars. I met Boris Karloff was in town in those days, and I never met him. He was doing, he was playing Captain Hook in a little flyby thing. What the heck is the name of that great story? The Barry story.
Peter Pan?
Peter Pan, yeah. And I didn't see him, and on the street, and he banked at the same bank I did. Never ran into him. But a young lady who was helping me with the mail from Columbia University, we used to get mountains of mail. She met him sometime later. And she said to him at a party, she said, she introduced herself and said, I'm working on the Zacherley show and we're showing your old films tonight. And she says, I hope you don't mind what we're doing with your movies. And he says, not at all, my dear. You brought me back to life.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful.
And
then now you have sort of I've noticed, like last year you had a part in one of our most popular movies here on Drive-In Theater, Frankenhooker.
You've shown that movie?
We've shown that movie here. Did you like the movie?
Brain Damage. Have you seen Brain Damage?
Brain Damage. Were you in Brain Damage
I was
also?
the voice of the worm.
Oh, well, I'm very impressed.
The worm bites you in the back of the neck, sucks your brains out.
That's right.
That was my voice.
And the worm sings Cole Porter.
You bet.
Besides, all right.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. Well,
Very
I
exciting.
can't tell you how much we appreciate
And those guys, those guys are now making a horror movie musical.
Really?
Yes.
I know those guys. Frank Henenlotter and Edgar Ivins.
You got them. You got them.
They're great. They're
great.
demented guys.
I want to say goodbye.
All right.
And leave the show to you. All right.
Well, thank you, Zach. I appreciate you being here. You have made my show legitimate
What are they,
now.
boy?
Stick around. We're going to show one more movie called Jakarta. This 1988 flick is one of the greatest action movies ever made. It's about this burned-out, half-crazy CIA agent searching through Indonesia for a beautiful woman that he saw blown to smithereens 3 years before. It's got more fireballs per minute than any movie since Rambo. 4 stars. You see this movie, Zach?
I'm sticking around.
Oh, okay, good. Can you do that laugh one more time?
He was playing Captain Hook in...
So it was the beautiful woman all the time. That is a great movie, Jakarta. And it never did really get the exposure it deserved. And that's one of the all-time greatest car chases I have ever seen in my life. Even goes through a drive-in. Okay, once again, I want to thank the great John Zacherley for being with us tonight. And I want to remind you that the Horror Host Hall of Fame continues next week with Ghoulardi, the Cleveland legend. And I'll tell you a secret about him. Ghoulardi's real name is Ernie Anderson. He's the announcer for the ABC television network, but back in the 60s, he was America's most notorious movie host. He would come on TV dressed as a chain-smoking beatnik and encourage impressionable young children to hold their breath till they turned blue. A very sick guy, and next week right here on Drive-In Theater, Ghoulardi will recreate his whole act for us, the one that got him banned in Cleveland. We didn't have time for the mailbag tonight, but if you have any movie requests or you want to discuss the meaning of life with me or you want to get a copy of my world-famous We Are the Weird newsletter, then write to me at the Movie Channel mailbox, P.O. Box 1264, Radio City Station, New York, New York, 10101, and I'll get back to you. And that's about it for me. Next week's movie, by the way, is Invaders from Mars, not the remake, the original 1953 version with Helena Carter and Jimmy Hunt. So I'll see you then. I heard a new one. You guys know why did the Siamese twins move to England? So the other one could drive. Joe Bob Briggs reminding you that the drive-in will never die. Not sick enough for you guys, is it? I'm a little choked up tonight because in just 2 minutes from right now, I, Joe Bob Briggs, am going to introduce to you the king of late night movie host. He's sitting right down there at the end of my sofa. He's in a vampire trance right at this very moment. But first, I got to make a few announcements. I was watching Home BO again tonight, and I got so sick of it, I had to come down here 3 hours early and get the party started this weekend. Now, come on, you guys. It's the gall darn Friday the 13th, and you're still sitting there in front of your TV set eating cheese doodles, aren't you? Now, tonight, by popular demand, we got A Nightmare on Elm Street, the movie directly responsible for 19 mass murders in Times Square last month. And then we got 2 more incredibly bloody chunks of film, Invisible Strangler at 10:30 and Silent Madness at midnight. But we got something even better than that. Movie Channel history is being made tonight. Right now, I'm going to introduce to you, my hands are shaking, I can't even hardly do this. He's sitting right over there on the sofa, chewing on a piece of large intestine and drinking something that looks like it came out of Ronald Reagan. And it's a man who was the first late-night monster movie host in the history of late-night monster movie hosts. You know who I'm talking about, the Prince of Darkness himself. I want you to welcome Executive Director of the Transylvania Chamber of Commerce. It's Zacherley.
Thank you, Bob, for that ghoulish and insipid introduction.
Well, thank you, Mr. Zacherley, sir. I'm just kind of speechless and helpless here because you look so creepy. I mean, you just, I think it's the jacket.
Thank you, Joe Bob, my boy. Great pleasure to be here. And you must come visit me back home in Transylvania, where Friday the 13th is a national holiday, of course. Goes on for days and days and days and nights, of course, until the last vampire and werewolf has been satisfied, shall we say. And we also have a terrifying film festival, lots of blood and guts, lots of blood and guts and stuff. That's the only kind of film we show, of course. And all you connoisseurs out there of the shocking will be glad to know that our first film tonight brings forth roars of approval. You know what kind of roars I'm talking about when we show it back home. It's the masterpiece of menace, A Nightmare on Elm Street. So if you're another helpless victim of terrifying thrills, this blood's for you. Dip your web feet into the waters of the weird. This is as good a place as any to start. And my old friend Wes Craven will show you around a new neighborhood where to fall asleep is to fall victim to a nightmare on Elm Street. And remember, if you should venture out tonight, every city and every town has an Elm Street. Think about that, eh? All right, Ecor, roll the film. For some reason, and an absurd reason, I must say, very absurd, this film has been rated R. Should have been rated G for Grizzly. Take your choice and enjoy whatever you are.
Well, we got a real turkey coming up right now. Invisible Strangler starring Elkie Summers' push-up bra. But you know, the thing about the real toilet pictures on the Movie Channel is we tell you right up front, we say, hey, we're going into the toilet tonight. It's better than playing Monopoly with your sister, so let's have some fun with it. Let's go in the toilet together. Let's get in there and splash around and enjoy these movies, okay? Are you with me? Well, I tell you what, there's one guy I know is with me, and he's going to stay with me right on through the midnight flick on this drive-in theater triple feature. And that one at midnight is going to be called Silent Madness. And of course, I'm talking about Mr. Macabre, the prince of late night movies. Here he is again, rested up for another go at it, Zacherley.
Well, Mr. Briggs, I believe the last time you described me as the king of late night TV. Now you're calling me the prince. I don't know.
Well, frankly, Mr. Zacherley, I was a little disappointed last time. You know, I heard you were a really gross guy and that you did a lot of stuff like, you know, burning Chihuahua dogs on TV and eating gopher guts and stuff like that. About all you did was, you know, you ate some of this gizzard juice. But you know, I was a little disappointed.
Well, you know, it's not necessary to resort to the what should we say, the cheap, you know, to be theatrical stuff to make a point here, really. Here, would you care for some brain here? Nice fresh brain here. I'll dip it in the juice, actually. You'd love it, you know? Well, Joe Bob, I want to tell you, that last film made my hair stand on end all over. and how well I remember the Strangler when he first started out. He was forced to go invisible because of all the media attention. You know how the media is. And the poor devil went through a lot, so you couldn't see him. You could still smell him, though. That's another story, though. He had a lot of fun in the first time there out on the street, doing a few of the local beauties, et cetera, making a real scene, you know. Really enjoying himself when the confounded boys in blue had to get into his act, always spoiling things, you know. Too bad. Made me real sad at the time, I'll tell you. Incidentally, my man may be invisible, but I can assure you folks out there that the lovely Erica Summer is anything but. Something for all of us creatures to look forward to as we watch the story of my friend, the Invisible Strangler. And for the concerned among you, and I know you're concerned, this one is rated PG. Have to have a serious discussion with the boys about these ratings. If I had my way, your whole family would be watching this thing. The Invisible Strangler. Enjoy it if you dare.
Yes, we do have another movie here on Drive-In Theater. I'm Joe Bob Briggs, and they slipped me an extra 20 tonight to come out here and do 3 flicks instead of the usual double feature in honor of Friday the 13th, and we're about to wind it all up with Silent Madness, which is about another mental asylum guy that gets loose and kills every blonde that the guy in the last movie forgot to kill. Then at 1:30, John Hurd and Levon Helm are going to get caught up in a bad drug deal in a flick called Best Revenge. And speaking of bad drug deals, it's time again for the last word in horror movie hosts. Here he comes. Yes, it's Zacherley. Zach, I can't tell you what this night's meant to me. Can I have like an autograph or something to remember you by?
No, I think not. No.
Well,
no.
You know, Zach, you can come back on my show anytime you want to.
Well, Joe
welcome
Bob,
here at the
I
Movie
like
Channel.
your style. I appreciate your style and your hospitality. I have the feeling you felt the bite of a coyote werewolf down home there one time. That has made you a better creature in the end, I think. And that reminds me, it's been a great pleasure being here, and on behalf of all your crazed viewers, and there must be millions of them, I trust that you will be showing more and more scary films in the months ahead. And on this Silent Madness mess, you just remember it's out there stalking the streets of the college town. And are you ready for this? A computer error. A computer error, mind you, has resulted in the early release of a homicidal maniac from my old alma mater, Crestview Mental Hospital. I'd sing the alma mater, but I sort of forget. Well, once he's out, we find that the old friendly fiend hasn't forgotten the nasty teasing he took. That's teasing, that is, from those nasty sorority girls a few years back. So, of course, he goes a-visiting. And you know how he would be, you know, and he is, and he puts the girls through a new initiation. I love it. This film was originally in 3D, but I know how those lousy, rotten little glasses, those 3D glasses, give you headaches, so I arranged for it to be shown in 1D. Now, you trust me, you won't need any extra dimension to hear the frightening sounds of Silent Madness. Rated R. Whatever you are. Bye-bye. Boo!